Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute wild science of why certain things become wildly popular. Have you ever looked at the top of the music charts and thought, wait, how on earth did this get here? Well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unpack some really compelling research that might just completely change how you think about your own favorite playlists. We naturally assume the absolute best music just naturally rises to the top, right? But let's pause and question our own musical tastes for a second. We all love to think of ourselves as independent thinkers with impeccable taste. We figure a good song succeeds simply because, well, it's good, and a bad one fails because it's bad. But what if the actual quality of the music is literally just a tiny fraction of the whole story? Before we get too far, we need to lock down our core term. When we talk about a hit today, we are talking strictly about popular success. We aren't measuring artistic brilliance or, complex musical composition here. Based on the source material we're analyzing, a hit is just something that a massive amount of people are consuming and enjoying. Popularity is the only metric that matters for this. So here's our roadmap. 1, the anatomy of a hit. 2, the Columbia University experiment. 3, the power of peers. 4, quality versus popularity. And finally, 5, the internet multiplier effect. Section 1, the anatomy of a hit, questioning our musical choices. Let's get right into it. Seriously, when you think about your absolute favorite track right now, did you go out and find it, or did the world kind of subtly push it onto your radar? It's a bit of an uncomfortable question, isn't it? We really want to take full ownership of our tastes. But as you'll see, the research suggests our choices are incredibly susceptible to the environment around us. Section 2, the Columbia University experiment, a lab test for human behavior. To figure this out, researchers at a university in New York set up an incredibly clever online study. They gathered a massive participant pool of 14,000 teenagers. Now, in the research world, 14,000 people gives your study serious statistical weight. And teenagers? They are literally the perfect demographic for this because they consume a ton of new music and are hyper-tuned into social trends. Then, they presented these students with a list of 48 completely unknown songs. This is the brilliant part. By using tracks nobody had ever heard of, the researchers wiped out any pre-existing biases. No brand loyalty, no famous pop stars, no preconceived notions. Every single song started on an entirely level playing field. The methodology they used was super straightforward. Step 1, listen to the unknown songs. Step 2, give 1 star to the songs you don't like. And step 3, give 5 stars to the ones you really like. It's basically a simple 1 to 5 rating scale, perfectly mimicking how we evaluate media every single day. Moving on to Section 3, the power of peers, the secret behind our choices. This is where things get really fascinating, and we need to pull out a couple of key terms from the text to understand it. Peers and influence. It turns out our peers, meaning our friends or equals in a social group, heavily influence what we select. Influence just means having an effect on someone's decisions. The study showed that the moment these teenagers could see what their peers were doing, it completely altered their own behavior. Take a look at this quote from Salgenik, the lead researcher. He says, "Since you can't listen to all of them, a natural shortcut is to listen to what other people are listening to.
Think about it. Evaluating 48 different songs takes a ton of time and mental energy. Our brains absolutely crave efficiency. So we use this natural psychological shortcut. If everybody else is listening to it, well, it must be worth checking out, right? As a quick linguistic detour from the reading, notice how the word influence functions identically as both a noun and a verb. Compare that to the words song and sing, which are totally different forms. This actually perfectly mirrors how popularity works. A song is just a static noun until someone sings it. But influence, that's both the thing itself, the social pressure, and the active process of changing someone's mind. Section 4. Quality versus popularity, the ultimate showdown. This brings us to a really fascinating clash. Quality, which is how intrinsically good or bad the music is, versus popularity, which is how many people are enjoying, sharing, and discussing it. The crucial takeaway here is that a song doesn't actually need to be of absolute pristine quality. It literally just requires a few people to enjoy it enough to start talking about it. The momentum of popularity takes over from there. Once that small early group likes a song, it creates a massive snowball effect. Why? Well, people naturally want to know what others listen to. We genuinely enjoy discussing music with our friends. So those early listeners influence their peers, and suddenly that popularity spreads like wildfire, turning a totally unknown track into a massive hit. Finally, Section 5, the Internet Multiplier Effect, Hyperdriving Human Psychology. This pure effect completely explains why the modern era has revolutionized the music industry. The internet acts as a giant amplifier. It instantly allows people to see what their friends are doing and thinking. If peer influence was a spark before, social networking is essentially throwing gasoline on that fire. Think about the tools we have now. We share opinions almost instantly, post comments all over the web, read reviews from other listeners, and can easily see exactly how many people downloaded a song. You don't have to wait until school tomorrow to find out what's cool. The internet takes that natural human shortcut of looking at our peers and puts it into absolute hyperdrive. As the source material suggests, perhaps this information has more influence on our choices than we think. Seeing those exact numbers, the likes, the shares, the download counts, might actually be the most powerful factor dictating what we eventually press play on, maybe even overriding our own independent judgment. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Think about the very last song you downloaded. Did you really find it all on your own, or did your peers find it for you? The next time you confidently add a track to your playlist, take a second to trace its journey. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and keep questioning what you think you know.